Hello, people. I haven't been on camera in a while. Hello, I'm Todd, for those of you who don't know, in case you're coming to this video, because I'm gonna post it in regards to hardcore. And I edit PBG gameplay, and mostly. I also have help from Jack, my roommate, who's great. But I do edit hardcore. I produce hardcore. I live and breathe and die hardcore, basically. And I just kind of wanted to make like a little like, hey, hardcore season 5 is over after being, this series was gone for a year and some change. I just wanted to, to talk about it because that's what I do. I like talking. Or something, I don't know. There's also some questions that people have asked that I will get to. But first off, thank you, everybody who's watched hardcore. It's been pretty cool to go from watching, like Austin or PBG and other people like on YouTube to knowing them to editing for them. It's kind of a weird series of events. And I actually always liked hardcore, like even before I knew everyone. I wanted, now that I like worked for Austin, I was like, oh, we should definitely do hardcore because, as a person who makes stuff, that's what I want to do. I want to make stuff. And so I was very curious as to why the show wasn't going. Like when I got signed on to do gameplay as well as assistance with the main channel, it kind of came down to like, there's just a lot of logistics. They being Austin and Jeff, who was the previous editor for PBG gameplay and edited hardcore season, I think Terraria season 2 and Minecraft's 4 and maybe 3 or maybe just 4. I don't remember. But anyway, the two of them kind of were like, well, we want to update it because it's been so long since we've done one. We want to update it. We want to get like new assets and new this and new that, and like, there's all the planning, to get like people together, and it seemed like, like, hey, if I can do this editing thing, then why don't I take more responsibility for gameplay? And so like it was kind of like a baton pass thing, but at first like hardcore like wasn't really happening. Like I had a bunch of ideas and I was like, I just gotta find a way to convince like them to do it because I can't really do everything. Like people don't know me. I can't be like, hey, other YouTube person, I work for PBG, because it's just not, people aren't gonna read that email. Well, I mean, probably not, I don't know. Especially people get a lot of emails, I'm sure that they get impersonators, so it's like, it made sense to kind of be like, well, Austin still has to handle that. And that's still like a level of responsibility and a level of effort and stress in terms of like wrangling, essentially freelancers, like YouTubers who are busy, and especially if you wanted to get new people on the show and stuff like that, which we did, it's gonna be a lot of work, and they kind of weren't in a position or in a place that they wanted to do it at the time. But I had like been working on these ideas and like stuff I wanted to do to bring, to do what they wanted, which was to up the production value and kind of give people what they want while also making it nicer. And I had all these ideas, and then like one day in the middle of filming,
or Minecraft hardcore, what?
Don't say that.
I'm not putting that in.
The audience is gonna hear you.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen eventually. I've been saying that for a long time though.
Like I said, Austin, I got a plan.
We'll do it. I love doing it. It's super fun.
I know. I'm literally gonna give you. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna give you like a packet. Not really. It's not gonna be that big. It's gonna be like
a packet.
Like a page, not like a packet. But I'm gonna be like, look. Here's all my ideas. Here's why they make sense.
Well,
do it or I'll punch you in the nose.
Well, I'm definitely down to do it.
You don't want to get punched in the nose.
We should like hardline it for December.
Well,
like, it's got to be done for December uploading.
And I'm like, okay, cool. It just took me totally by surprise because like I was expecting kind of like, I'd have to like convince him to do stuff because, all of us like creators are a little stubborn, me included. But, you know, when it comes to people who have like passion for making stuff, I think, you know, that kind of wins out in the end. And I did. And like, I think you know, whatever perfect storm, like Austin kind of came around. He was like, you know, let's go for it. And immediately, you know, I was like, hit the ground and I'm like, okay, cool. Like if I have the green light to do this, you know, I kind of just jumped into the producer role without knowing even it was a producer role or what I was doing at all. I had no idea. I just was like, well, they kind of like listed some stuff that they wanted to do a couple months back, and things like it was phrased in the way of, these things are too much work, so we don't want to do them right now. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna just make a list of that so we can take care of it. When you're busy with your own channel, everything seems like a lot, and I totally get that, which is why, again, I was like, I need to take this stress from them and try to make it work to their vision still. And so I did that. I said, one of the big things about hardcore is the overlay, you know, like the frame through which people view the show. And I remember thinking about like Mind Z and being like, oh man, I really like what Jeff did there. Like in terms of like the look of it, and he had like this whole spin in thing and the map, and I was like, that was very cool. Like it was a cool, you know, approach, cool idea. But I was thinking like, well, let's you know, this is like one of the interesting things about YouTube is you kind of have to build shows or whatever you're doing with the perspective of someone who's watching YouTube like in mind. Like, how are they thinking, or what might they be seeing? So you see, like in TV, you wouldn't do like an overlay like that. You obviously would shoot around. The footage would be cut in whatever necessary way. But this doesn't work that way because it's video game footage, so you kind of have to think like, okay, well, how can I do this differently? And so like their solution was to make this little overlay, and I was like, okay, well, that's really important, so let's rebuild that in a way that it feels like it fits in the universe of hardcore, where it's like, oh, you know, hardcore is this show that's it hosts mostly funny people, or people who want to be funny, or who have like a natural banter and a predilection towards comedy in some way. But it's still serious. Like the main ish of it is that if you die forever. And Austin is always talking about how he really wants people who are going to be into it, like get into the, you know, like that's why we love having Pro Jared on, because he is like, boom, like it's like, hey, we're doing this concept. He's like, I already lived there. I've already got it. I've been there my whole life. Like, bam, just falls into the role, which is, you know, obviously like that's what we love, and that's why we like the main cast. And we like to find like new guests to see who, you know, people who will fall into that in that same way. So, you know, that seriousness is relevant. It comes across, and something I've been learning about comedy in general is like there's a really big difference between jokes and kind of setting something up for somebody to laugh, and sort of instead creating an environment where things are just as serious as, you know, whatever the situation calls for, and then those laughs and that comedy undercutting that. When that happens, the comedy hits a lot harder, because it's just contrast, right? Like you fall into one sort of mood or state for a while, and depending on what's happening in hardcore, that takes you in a different direction. Like when nothing's happening, they tend to do a lot of banter, like if they're just mining or whatever, and that's fun. And then, but like when things get serious, like you can't really visually go from like fun and banter to serious. You have to always be at serious. And what ends up happening is that when things are funny, you're not paying attention to how serious the rest of it looks. So when I decided to talk to Chris Day, or Strex, I said, you know, I was like, I want something that reflects that. I want something that reflects kind of the serious, and people, they're talking to me. Shut up. People, you know, that reflects the seriousness of hardcore, without being overbearing. And so he came back with this really cool, very like understated, but exactly what I was looking for idea, with like the stones and like the dark stones and the I forgot what the sconces on the side, the torches, and like the wood panel on the bottom, just kind of like a block, just sort of Minecraft-esque, because I liked what Jeff had been doing in the past with having them be two different textures, and I was like, okay, well, let's take that to a new level. Let's take it out of Minecraft, like Minecraft graphics, so we could use it for other hardcore series if we need to. Like he came back with something really cool, and like something we had been talking about from the get-go was I saw the torches in, I think it was Mine Z, but I really liked the torches, and I was like, let's make that like an element. Like let's make that part of what's happening, because visually, you know, there's only so much I can do to affect how people are thinking or feeling in the show. Because I mean, ultimately, you know, if Pigman, there's a Pigman attack, I mean, they're probably already yelling, you know, and you know, how do I don't get to play with angles. I don't really get to play with a lot of like other visual things. Like I can't set stuff on fire, you know. So like, cause like, you know, you look at like a show like maybe like Walking Dead, and like when things are happening, and they can influence all these things. Oh, they can decide that there's an explosion. They can decide that a siren goes off. That's how you can control those things and force kind of a panic or a sense of stress in a viewer. Like those are how you control those emotions. And I can't really do that as much with hardcore. So I was trying to think of a way to do that, and I thought the torches were kind of my gateway to that. And it's really funny because people kind of were only just noticing that they even changed at all by the end of the series in some cases, whereas other people kind of picked up on it immediately, which is cool. Like that's kind of what I wanted. Like I wanted people, and to explain, if you hadn't noticed, or if you don't even care about hardcore and you're here for some other reason, when like nothing was happening, I would like by default, like if they're on the surface or just talking, I would have the torches at a dim state, and they have like a little cycle, like a graphic cycle that Strex built, Chris Strex, whatever, built, and then we have a transition. So we have like a slow transition from dim to standard, and then from standard to bright, the other direction, and also fast, like a kick up, like go from like, I want to go from like dim to bright in like, you know, in really fast. Like I want to go from they're talking to somebody's dying.
And that we need.
Oh! Lava, get out! No, I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! No! So like that was really cool. Like that was kind of a conversation we had later, like after he had already built the over. Like oh man, like I need to be able to kick things up really quick. And it's kind of like cool because like it's like this magical thing where the torches just get dimmer or brighter magically. Like if you think about it in a physical space, it's all magic. But what ends up happening is it pairs with the emotion on the screen. So like when there's fighting and there's danger, it gets bright. And like in the reverse, there was a couple situations where things were like really bad. So for instance, when Austin and Jeff are in the Nether trying to get the Nether wart for no reason, and Ray had just died. They start like I went like really deep. I went really deep and stressful and dark and like intense because like Austin goes off on his own and Jeff gets cut off from him and like everything's going bad and I'm playing Bluebird, whatever, Lamentation, and it's just like, oh no, like it's so bad, and like you're so sure that the season is over, that episode. And that's what I wanted to feel. I wanted it to feel like this, like the season was over, like everybody was gonna die. Jeff gets down to like half a heart. I mean, it was over. As far as anyone should have felt. And you know, not that and it's not gonna affect everyone the same way, but part of that was taking the torches from bright to dim, and making it look as though there was no light. But anyway, like, so you can kind of control the light in that way as well. Like sometimes you use it to reflect emotion or literally light. And that was fun, I think. And then like in the final battle with the Ender Dragon, I turned the torches purple, which is not a perfect effect. It was really just a color tint because I don't know. I'm not even a good editor. Like I don't know how to do cool things. I just like emotion. But you know, that was something I really wanted to do, and I think it worked. I hope it worked. People seem to like it or not notice it, which is fine. That's totally fine. They don't need to notice it. As long as if it didn't bother them, then I win, as far as I'm concerned. So that was like a big change. And then one of the other things, not the main thing, but a very important thing was the intro. So like in the beginning of every episode, after the actual you know, like hardcore, which is another thing, intro comes in, like I wanted the overlay to go like, I wanted it to enter the screen. I wanted it to suspend disbelief. Like it was very important that it was like, yo, you're like, we're beginning now. Like you are in this now. Like we have gone from like, you know, YouTube land to like you're in the show. And like that transition is really small, and for a lot of people probably doesn't work, but for the people who it would affect, I felt like that would be really important or cool or fun. Maybe I just liked it, I don't know. It was like a really nice meaty like stone slab sound effect, which I was really, really happy with. And again, Strex did a good job animating that so that it was believable. So I had my dear friend Josiah McDaniels redo or make us a new hardcore theme, and that was kind of like probably the most pushback that we got, which wasn't a lot. A lot of people liked it or didn't mention it, but there's a good amount of people who were like, oh, you know, I like the old song, and I knew that was gonna happen. That was really hard because it's just this, you know, this Kevin MacLeod or MacLeod or whatever has been making music for like decades, right? And Josiah's kind of new to it, and it's tough because like he's done, you know, Kevin's done so much stuff, but it was like royalty free, like, and I wanted something that was like ours, you know? And so we kind of went for like a little bit more of like an intense theme, like a little bit more of like dramatic theme, especially because that was sort of the direction I wanted to take hardcore anyway, with the editing and with the feel. And I think he did a great job. I think Josiah made an awesome piece of music. I really like it. But I do understand, like, you know, especially over time, it's been interesting to kind of see the difference, like how it felt with the truth of whatever. Versus like Josiah's piece. It's very interesting because it is a very different energy, and like I'm very curious to see like going forward, you know, if we ever do something again, like how we might approach it again, because that's something like I never want to consider anything necessarily off the table. It's part of, from what I'm understanding, part of production is finding ways to change things for the better, or at the very least to kind of revive a piece of the experience. So changing cast members, changing, you know, doing things like adding in the third person perspective, like the spectator angle, and doing like different kinds of cuts and different kinds of feelings. Like that was something that was really important to me. So part of that was this new song, and I think that the new song came together great. As far as like behind the scenes, it was talking to Strex and Josiah and Amber, who did the new portraits for like the people's faces, was such a just totally different experience, because I'm so used to working on my own, and even with working with Austin, it's just Austin. And this was like different people, 3 totally different people who worked differently. They thought differently. They had different schedules. Like Amber, she was just like just, she'd get me something every day or every other day. And like, it was what she was working on. Like she was about to go like on vacation, I think. And she was super, and everybody was great to work with, just to be clear. But like, she was like, bah, 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 like she just was ready to go. And she made some great stuff really quick. And then like Josiah, I'm used to working with Josiah. He's let me help him on a couple of like lyrics things in the past, and he makes great music. And we're really good at talking. I understand kind of the feeling he goes for, even though I don't understand music terms very well. So working with him was very natural. But like, we hit this stupid snag where Skype didn't send him my feedback to something he said for like 2 weeks. So we ended up kind of having to like rush towards the end, and like that was stressful, but you know, he like rose to the occasion, and like he was iterating and like like we were working on the chants. The chants were a big deal, like how, if you haven't noticed, it's saying hardcore. Like that's a thing. I don't chant. I don't sing anything. Anyway, it sounded really good, and he ended up getting a classically trained singer friend of ours, Julia, or Pajama Pants, to do the vocals, and it was a great, like he did a great job with it. but like, you know, working on that was totally different. And working with Strex, who was in the UK, was on a totally different timetable, and you know, he had kind of an event happen in his life during this period, and he was still giving me good stuff. And so like learning to work with that was really interesting. I don't know, it was just such a cool process that I just wanted to talk about. This is my freaking YouTube channel, so everyone gets to hear about it, I guess. And maybe someone will find it useful. So one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about for hardcore was just in general, so much of it is pacing. So much of it is pacing, and so much of it is like keeping things interesting. That is part of the editing. Like that's part of what, like the things you have control over once you have everything in your possession. Like how much can you cut? Where can you cut? Like what kind of things can you truncate? When you look at the final, because we recorded season 5 in two sittings. I think it was like 6 or 8 hours for the first one, which is up through all the way up until they get back to the house. Jeff and Austin get back to the house by themselves from the Nether. And then the second session was just as long. And that's just Austin and Jeff. And if you look at the episode lengths, they get really long, but they don't add up to 4.5 hours, because it just wasn't interesting anymore. Like the danger was gone. There was no danger anymore. Like the fact that like Austin's death was amazing, and I can show the angle that I had in the spectator cam of him getting blown up, and it's hilarious. It's really funny. I was losing my shit. It is so funny to just watch this creeper just kind of like walk up to him and just end it. He just ended it. In the actual recording, Austin's death scream is a good 2 seconds late. Watch out! Because he doesn't even, he's like, what? And then he goes, bleh. Like, because he just doesn't, it didn't process. He went from 100 to 0, which is not common, but watching it from my perspective is really funny. So I hope you find that funny as well. But from there on, there was even then, like, there shouldn't have been any danger, but they didn't put torches anywhere or like make a house. I don't know why. They didn't do it. And then, like, from then on, it's like, Jeff's not gonna lose to one Enderman. Like, it's just not gonna happen. His armor's really good, and Jeff's pretty good. Jeff's pretty good at Minecraft. As far as everyone's, like, abilities in that game, Jeff is probably the top. But yeah, so, like, I had to cut a lot of stuff. This was really boring. And that's made, like, and to add to that, and yes, I will explain, finally, the hotbar thing. So, in episode 22... I missed a shot in editing where it shows the creative mode hotbar for a couple seconds. People freaked out because what we had been doing was spawning Endermen around the base to speed up this process, because it's really boring. It's very, very boring. It's a very boring piece of game. It would just be Jeff running around trying to find Endermen, which do not spawn very often, for the most part. Like, it's nice, like, if you can find a desert, they spawn a lot more often there, or they seem to. At the very least, it's easier to see them. But they're rare spawns, and you need 12 pearls in the end portal, plus the ones it takes to make ender eyes to get to the portal, and they have a 1 in 5 chance of breaking. So it's just this really long grind to get to the end, because the game doesn't have any direction, so of course they have to make it a grind. Like, I understand that, but it's not entertaining. And so we mutually agreed that we would do this. So, like, some people were theorizing that, like, Jeff didn't know that I was doing this. No, we all definitely knew. We knew that there would be, like, that we were gonna just spawn Enderman to move this process along, because realistically, there's no danger. And as much as this is like this is like a reality thing, like, it's really what happens in Minecraft hardcore, or in any hardcore, it's really important that that's authentic. But the parts of it that, like, matter, it wasn't this. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you know, this, he needs to go do this really long, boring thing. Like, it's not interesting. And even if, like, we had done that, it would have been hours and hours extra of nothing happening, and Jeff would have had to carry that, and like it just wouldn't have worked out well. And it's tough because obviously I don't have the other universe, you know, the string theory universe where we didn't do that. So I can't show it to you and be like, look how boring it is. But I don't know, that was a decision and we all agreed on it. So everybody, it wasn't me just being like, I'll speed this up myself, like some kind of Machiavellian, like I'm like an evil producer. It was a discussion. And because what we knew people wanted to see, and what I was like flabbergasted that was even happening, was we wanted to see Jeff get to the end. That was really cool. And there was no point in in using creative mode that we ever helped him in it, like as far as like difficulty or mortality. Like he had to fight every Enderman, he had to find his way to the stronghold on his own, he had to fight the dragon on his own, he died to the dragon on his own. Like there was no point, and even earlier, like some people were like, oh, it's rigged because PB and Jeff, and it's like, nah. Someone said I'd put the creeper there that blew up Austin. No, you can see it actually in the footage for like a second. He gets just within the creeper's range, and you can't see the creeper turn, but you know where it is. Having what happens, having the narrative be real is very important, and that was something we all wanted to preserve and we agreed to preserve. But you know, part of doing these kinds of things, making these kinds of shows, is that it's entertainment, and we want to facilitate that as best as we can. So like that's why the episodes got longer, but I actually cut a ton of content. There's a ton, like just lots of video of like Jeff kind of like saying something once every like 10 seconds, and him running back and forth to things, and like watching chickens, and and it's, you know, we cut all that. Like we cut all that for watchability. And that was another reason why we wanted to do the spectator cam shots, was to get like cool kind of cinematic views of stuff, just to kind of move things along. Like a longer period of time could be attributed to a shorter shot. Like that's something that I learned from watching like fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like if you just show people in a big giant area and then you show them in a new area, the assumption is that they went through that big giant area without anything happening. And in the case of Hardcore, that's exactly what happened, is he would go through big giant areas and nothing would happen. Which is, you know, whatever, like that's what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff is authentic and that's fun, and I made sure to include all of those things in the cut. But it's, I don't know, it's, I'm sure that there are tons of arguments to say that like we should just leave it all alone, but we all felt like it was a good decision, and he still fucking lost. Still failed. I guess that's everything. Hardcore's been super fun. It's been like an obsession. It's just like a nothing like YouTube Let's Play series, but for probably most people, but for me it was something new. You know, it was a new challenge. It was a whole bunch of things I thought I could do that I've never done before. And it's a space in which I think there's just plateauing. You know, and not calling anything out, but like just Let's Plays in general are a thing. They are done in this way, and this way is not interesting to me. And there's a big argument versus time and money put into making it the way it is, because I get paid to make this, and I spend a lot of time on these episodes. Like they take, just from editing, like, and cutting the cameras and attributing all of the overlay assets to that, that, you know, and then putting in like jokes and music and stuff, and then like filters and doing montages. Oh my god, the montage is my favorite thing, and they took forever. That all takes time. And, you know, you look at like a Let's Play, like an hour-long Let's Play, like let's say you have an hour of footage and it comes out to a 40-minute Let's Play, it probably took you at most 2 hours to edit that, because if you don't do anything to it, it's just cuts. And that's, you know, whatever, like that minimum effort, like you're not gonna pay someone a lot to do that, and then they have the video, and the video is still gonna get tons of views most likely, like if it's good or if it's on a big channel. And that's just like not the philosophy that we have, or at least that's not the philosophy I have. And the way I look at it is, if Austin hired me for any reason, it was because he and I are ambitious, and we're driven, and we're creative, and we're kind of stupid, and we don't do everything in the most efficient way. But it's a case of like, it's really important for us to push that quality. And like to be a place or a show or a channel or a collection of personalities who are that way and who have those values. Like that's really cool to us. That's really cool to me. So yeah, if for as long as I can, I'm gonna keep making hardcore super awesome. I forgot what I was saying because the camera turned off. Anyway, that means that this is way too long. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, hardcore, whatever else about things that I do that you watch. You know, thank you. It's super important to me. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to be in this space. You know, working on this kind of stuff because it's weird. It's weird stuff and it's new stuff, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and no one knows what the hell they're doing. And, you know, you're just trying to make it work. And that's really important to me. It's really cool. It's really valuable. So, that's it, I guess. I don't know. Someone asked for a tutorial on how to edit a hardcore video. If I do that, it's going to take forever. So, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying it's going to take a long time. And then, also, people want like a playlist of all the music I used. Gigantic playlist, but I'll make that and put it in the description or something, or somewhere. I'll put it somewhere. It's mostly it's like half Chrono Cross. I don't even know what I'm gonna do for Terraria because I use so much Chrono Cross. I guess Chrono Cross is just gonna be the soundtrack of hardcore. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyway, that's it. Oh yeah, so I want to do more of these. Less of this. Because what else is there to talk about? Unless people know and they ask me questions, if you guys want something in particular, whatever. But I'll probably just like keep doing like, vloggy stuff. I have a bunch of ideas. There's some game design stuff I want to talk about. From like I've been playing Yakuza 0, cool stuff happening there, and just you know life things, I guess. I mean, literally just gonna be vlogs. So if you hate that, fine, that's fine. I don't know. I can't do anything about it. Sorry, but. I just felt like I wanted to, you know, share things again. And I got my, I love Stuck Together podcast. I do that. You should listen to it if you don't. It's really fun. But like, you know, I guess this would be a little bit different and hopefully shorter. But I'm pretty rambly. Yeah. So bye.